All right, guys. The last time I saw our guest today was outside Shinkiba First Ring back in March. And this is the first time I'm talking to her since then. Welcome back to the show, Thekla.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Thank you. So I don't know if you remember this. This made my day. Was when we were standing outside, and I love Rina Yamashita with all of my heart. And she walked.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She walked out and said, "Thekla, is this your honey?"
Ah, I completely forgot about that, but now I remember. Yeah, Rena said that, right?
Yeah, which shocked me because
So embarrassing.
and I love Rena so much. I want to be her honey, but
Well, yeah, Rena is quite a badass. But yeah, that caught me off guard as well. We were just chatting outside, and she was like, "Oh, honey," I was like, "What?" But it was cool. They like. I mean, it's surprising, but the Japanese girls they like to make fun of. I don't know, everybody. It's like it's at least me. I'm getting picked on all the time, which I take as a compliment, though.
Yeah. No, but just seeing Rena be a human being instead of a killer was nice for half a second.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah. And so you were in. When did you go back to Japan? So we talked the first time. Go back into the archives and listen to our first episode. This is I can't even remember when that was. The first time we spoke.
I think that was in November last year, maybe. It was maybe about a year ago. A bit less.
Yeah.
I think either November or December, because I know that the day after we talked, I booked my flight to Japan for this trip. So that was probably in December, yeah.
So you guys can go back and listen to the first trip to Japan in the archives of the Joshi Pod. This time, when did you go back this time? What was the date you went back?
I think it was February 11th, 2020. Yeah, probably around that time. And I was supposed to go for 6 weeks again, like the time before, and ended up staying nearly 7 months.
And I'm sure you weren't complaining about that, were you?
I wasn't complaining about that, no. I mean, it was always super uncertain, like with, of course, the difficult situation. I never knew what was going to happen and if I'm going to get through it, it was so uncertain. So, and I never knew when exactly I was going to actually go back to Europe. But no, I mean, it was definitely the best decision, and I'm very happy and very lucky I got to do this. So, yeah.
So how was the second experience different from the first experience?
I mean, it was very different. I was just there for a lot longer, and I got to train a lot more, and I got it was in every way it was different. I think the whole Corona thing, of course, changed everything, and me being there for such a long time and really getting into the culture and really getting into wrestling, and also sort of maybe like, I don't know, I just for myself, I just jumped a couple of levels, like when it comes to being a better technician, but also being more confident as a entertainer, and also like the way I'm gonna, how do I say this? Like, I know a lot. I'm a lot more sure about how I'm gonna go all about this, and more confident of becoming like a better wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Really choosing this path. I think like last year I was always taking this seriously, but I didn't have that much confidence in my own abilities maybe. So that completely changed this time around, because I 100% I dedicated myself to pro wrestling, and I really didn't do anything else other than wrestle these past 7 months.
Yeah, from an outsider's perspective, I kind of saw as the first time you were a wrestler that went to Japan the first time. Now you're, I think, a full-fledged Joshi wrestler now.
Yeah, I think so too. Like the last time, I just got the feel for it, the taste for it, and I knew it was my thing. But this time around, I really understood how it, or I think I do understand how it all works, and what it takes to be a Joshi wrestler.
Yeah. So talk about living in Japan. I mean, you lived in Japan now. It wasn't like you're
Yeah,
staying with a short notice. You're going to
yeah,
go home or whatever. You lived in Japan. What was that
yeah,
experience
totally.
like?
It was awesome. It is like one thing I'm a bit sad about is, once you go to Japan a lot and you experience it and you understand, the culture a bit better and the people, and you've seen it before, like this my God, it's Japan, it's Tokyo, all the lights, and like this sort of goes away when you live there for a while. You get used to it, and this, I don't know how to say it, like the sparkle, like this crazy feeling, that goes away because yeah, you get used to it, and it's your life, and you have work. So, but except for that, I really dig it. I love the people. I love my day life there, and I didn't feel like a stranger either. So everything felt supernatural from the very first day. I just got to the dojo, I unpacked my stuff, and I was like, "Yep, I'm back."
And it was nice not having to introduce yourself, all over again to people because you know who everybody was.
I know. So it was like I wasn't, like the first time I was like, "Oh my God, like who are these people? Like what is this place?" But this time I was just like, "Yeah, I know where everything's at. Hey there, hi there. You remember me? Yeah, sure, cool. Okay, I'm gonna go. See you later. Nobody's worried. They all know I know my way around. So it felt good. It felt good to get back.
So were you living at the dojo in Saitama?
Yeah.
And how was it living there for so long?
Like everybody was always asking me like how can you do it? I couldn't do it, but I am not gonna lie, I love it. I mean, it's like there's people around like from 10 to 10, before and after that I have the whole house to myself. It's a huge place, and I can just go. I can go train, I can go walk around, I can cook, I can do whatever I want really. And yeah, I mean, during the day, sometimes one of the girls just bursts into the room, and in my room where I'm staying, like just doesn't mind really. Sometimes, just sitting on the floor, just talking on the phone, not even like noticing me. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't care. Do what you got to do. So, but I do like that. I don't care really. I'm not that protective of my personal space, I guess. Like other
Yeah.
people really mind that, but I'm rather easygoing. So when somebody's just knocking or wants something from me and I'm caught off guard, it's like it's not a big deal to me. And I like living, working. That doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, I think it's very convenient.
Hmm.
I like it.
So from a wrestling perspective, you got to train more. You said with the team there. What what's what's the advantage? I mean, I'm going to make you state the obvious, but what's the advantage of being able to train so often in wrestling be your number one focus? How does that help you?
I mean, of course, for the shows it's great because you get to work so much with the other girls, and then everything for with the fights, every like the matches go a lot smoother if you're used to the other people. It's just a lot more fun. And well, yeah, I mean, yeah, as you said, it's an obvious question. Getting to train that much is gonna eventually make you a better wrestler. So I mean, the dedication. I was very dedicated. I don't think I missed a lot of training sessions really. So I could really see progress rather fast. And I'm I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so it was always bothering me that I wasn't in the beginning. I wasn't up to the girl standard. So
Hmm.
once I saw that I was slowly catching up with the others, I felt a lot more confident, and it was a lot more fun to work for me. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Who were some of the people you were in training with most days?
I was always in training with Suzu and Tsukushi,
Those are
and
those are two difficult people to keep up with.
yeah, for sure. I mean, they were also like they're sometimes they're like assistant trainers.
Uh,
So, but yeah, but they're yeah, definitely, of course. But they're both great. They're I mean very different, of course. Tsukushi has been around for over 10 years. Suzu is a bit I think she's been 3 years now, but Suzu can do anything, as you might know. So it's like both of those it's really cool to work with them and learn from them also. And other than that, there was a variety of people. Sometimes Tsuka would be there for certain training sessions. Then Yuki would be there, Totoro, all of the girls really. I mean, they all come to train, except for Hamuko maybe.
But Ibuki would be there.
Sorry, Ibuki also. Well, but Ibuki was going to school, so she, of course, she's like doesn't even have time, you know. So, but mostly also the girls who work at the office, so whose job is to be at the dojo, those would be in training a lot. Yappy would be in training a lot too, obviously. So, yeah.
So, at what point did it go from? This is you said 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, 6 weeks.
So, at what point did you find out it's going to go from 6 weeks to who knows when? When did you find that out?
I never really knew how long I was gonna stay. Like, except, I mean, like 5 days before I was supposed to go home. That was in March. They were starting to lock everything down back in Europe, and some Austrian friends of mine who were also in Tokyo were starting to call me up. They were like, they were on vacation. They were like, okay, Thekla, we're going. I don't know what you're gonna do, but you should probably pack up because the Austrian government saying, you know, if you're not coming back now, you're gonna be stuck in Japan and everything. So I was like, oh my God, what shall I do? I already had everything packed up, you know. I was like, maybe I have to leave tonight. So I went to the airport and I talked to the people there. Spent 4 hours at the airport trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. Didn't know if I was gonna leave that night or in 5 days as I was supposed to, or if I was just gonna be better off staying in Japan. Because at this time the situation wasn't that bad in Japan. It was a lot worse in Europe. So I thought maybe I'm safer in Japan. Maybe I'm just gonna stay here for a little bit longer if I can. So in the end, I decided to rebook and stay another 6 weeks. So it was gonna be 12 weeks all in all. But I sort of already had the feeling that they were gonna cancel my next flight as well, which I was actually hoping for because once I had made the decision, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. This is awesome. You know, I mean, it was, of course, I was also, you know, like not scared, but worried because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I didn't know what was going to happen in Japan or if we were going to train and do shows at all. You know, that was all uncertain. But I just had confidence. I was like, okay, what's going to happen? What could happen? Not really thinking it through, but I was lucky. It all turned out to be fine.
Yeah, because I was kind of going through a similar experience at the time too when I was there. Because they were telling me you probably should get out of here, and I'm like, well, maybe my flight will be canceled, and I'll get stuck here. I was ready to get stuck in Japan too.
Yeah. That's true. You left like a week before I was supposed to leave. I think it was close.
Because I went to the one on March 21st when you
right. That was just a couple of days before. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the same week. Yeah, I know. Well, how about you? I mean, quick question. Well, what would you have done if you had stayed in Japan? If you couldn't have left for?
I would have been a very happy person.
Right.
I would have worked remotely from Japan, and I would have stayed at a hotel, and I would have enjoyed myself very much.
Yeah. See.
That's kind of why I kept holding out too. Yeah, I was holding out. I was like, oh, maybe my flight will get canceled. Maybe my flight will get canceled. But unfortunately,
like
it did not.
Crossing your fingers. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, for me, that like making this like decision was a real game changer. I was very close to going back home actually.
Mm-hmm. Did they like the visas and things like that? How did that work as far as did you have how long is your visa for?
Yeah, that was also a thing. I knew I had like all in all I knew I like my tourist visa was 3 months, so I knew I had another 6 weeks, and then my flight got canceled, and then I went to the bureau and I was like, okay, I can't go back. There is no flight. Please give me another visa extension. And they were like, okay. So they gave me another 3 months. And then when I felt that still wasn't enough because I still wanted to stay, everything was going so great. And, as I said, I was catching up. I was really getting into it. I was like, after that, I got the entertainer visa. So my first working visa, which was quite a hassle, but still, I'm super happy I got it. So yeah, it all worked out for the few people who stayed behind. I think they were very polite, very nice too. I mean, they were nice to me at least.
So Masha Slamovich was one of the people that was still over there as well.
Yeah,
She's still there
Masha.
now.
Yeah, she is. She is. She's doing fine. I was just messaging her today, talking a little bit. So yeah, she's loving it there too. I mean, just the way I was. She's still there. She's not thinking about leaving either, I think, which is the better decision, if you ask me.
Why did you leave? May I ask?
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I wasn't supposed to stay for longer than 6 weeks, so I had a lot of unfinished business at home, and also I had problems with my insurance because of the whole COVID thing. So I couldn't see any doctors in Japan. I could have, but it would have been extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then my family was getting very sour. It was just a lot of like university. It was just a lot of very boring bureaucracy, actually. So and just stuff that I had to get done. So and now I'm in the process of getting everything done, and also in the process of talking to the Japanese embassy again, and trying to figure out when I can go back to Japan again. Actually.
So I think it was at the show I was at was where they kind of talked about you becoming official ice ribbon.
Yeah. Yes, that was awesome.
How special was that for you?
That was really special and very unexpected. I don't know what I was doing that day. I just came back, and then Tsuka came up to me like she was super excited, giggly. She was like, okay, Thekla, do you want to become an official Ice Ribbon member? And I was like, my face just dropped. I was like, yes, of course. And they were all like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, and the whole office was like, yeah, okay. Everybody was clapping. I was so excited. I didn't think it was, I never expected it. It was crazy. I'm still very happy, and I feel also very honored that they asked me to join them in that official matter. Yeah, it was very exciting, and I'm very happy and very thankful.
Oh, I mean, you can tell by like your matches you had. I've watched a bunch of them. I mean, you've earned it. You earned your spot there with Ice Ribbon.
I guess. I don't know. I'm humbled. I don't know. I put a lot of work in it, that's for sure. But still, I didn't think. Yeah, it was very cool.
No,
it was very cool to be an official, to be made an official part of the gang.
You're at that level. You're at that level now too. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, at what point when you came back to Japan, did you feel like, oh, I'm making strides, I'm catching up with the rest of them? What point, how far into this tour did you feel like that was coming on?
It's hard to say because like the amount of training I was doing hours a week. I mean, 20 max, but 2 shows every week. I was really getting the experience in that I was lacking, So I think for point where I really felt stuff was changing was when after the lockdown, you remember the shows that we were doing that were only broadcasted, where we didn't have live audiences.
I love those shows. Yeah.
Yeah, they were cool. But I think like the first show when we had a live audience back for, I think it was a dojo show, and I had a match against Maika, Osaki Maika, and the crowd, just the way, I had my new gear and I did a bunch of new moves, and the way the crowd and the audience was, how do you say, reacting, and also writing on Twitter and taking photos and like just commenting on my style. I think that's when I really noticed like reflected on how I had changed, because they were all saying like, okay, yeah, I don't know who this girl is. I've never seen her before. Thekla is just a person now. And I was like, what, really? And then it started to, dawn on me. It's like, I'm getting better. So, I was starting to compare, and I think this like lockdown and the way it was. I mean, it was also very hard. I wasn't leaving the house for 6 weeks, only for getting groceries. Maybe I was really just training, doing and nothing else. So, and that as hard as it was, of course, but it was tremendously good for my, how do you say it? Like, I was getting a lot better, basically. So, and after that, you could really see the change, I think. So when was that? Maybe May, maybe around 3 months after I had gotten to Japan. Yeah, that's when I noticed, okay, shit's getting down. It's good.
So let's talk about those lockdown shows that you guys did at the dojo. Those were pretty fun shows. You got to do some commentary as well. What was that like?
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, the commentary. That was very fun. Like the commentary, I had never commented on anything, so I was actually very nervous about that. But it's very fun. It's a completely different thing, like to obvious. But like you have to say what you have to talk about what you're seeing, and then come up with sort of your own style of commenting on stuff. I don't know. It was very fun, and it's very interesting to see like a different job in the wrestling industry. Commentating. It's very fun. No, I love it.
I think Iceberg did a terrific job during the lockdown of putting those shows on and making them entertaining and getting you and Yappy doing some English commentary with Saya.
I think like as weird as the situation was, I think Ice Ribbon did a great job, and really took the opportunity to come up with new ideas of doing things. I don't know how other promotions were doing their stuff, but Ice Ribbon was just like, okay, we can't do live shows anymore, like with audiences. Let's come up with something else. And they were very, open to new ideas. Like, for example, the English commentary thing, that's something that I think me and Yappy were saying, because I was getting a lot of like messages from international people saying like, your show is great, but we can't understand what's going on at all. So we were like thinking, how about maybe we get some, just some commentary. And we told Tuka, and she was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's try that, So it was really fast and really great at reacting to the difficulties of the time. And I think also gained a lot of new fans because there wasn't anything else around during that time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, I think they're still doing the live broadcasts, right?
Yeah, they're still doing it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, still, even though we have live audiences again, but still, people from outside can watch the shows, and that's all new. And I think that's pretty great, for if you're sitting in the States or something, and you obviously can't go to a live show. This is at least, a great opportunity to be part of it, to be part of it,
Yeah, and I'm also looking at some portraits on my Joshi wall here. I think I have you up here 3 times. I think it's a lot of those from those online signings you guys did as well, which were, I think, pretty effective as well, having the online autograph signings.
Oh yeah, those too. Yeah, those are fun too. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I think as I said, Ice Ribbon came up with a lot of great ideas to make sure the fans still get what they like, and are entertained, and it's great ideas.
So you got to wrestle pretty much the who's who of Ice Ribbon during your tour there. You got to wrestle. I mean, Maya Yuki. She's an amazing talent. What's it like being in the ring with her this time versus previous times?
I'm not even sure if I was I was only with her like last year I was in the ring with her maybe once or twice in a tag team match or something. So this time I had two singles against her. And it was pretty cool. It's a lot of fun with Yuki. She's she's just really good.
She's gotten really, really good.
No, she's really good. I really like to look at Yuki and watch her do her stuff because I can learn a lot from her. I think she's very intelligent. The way she goes about stuff is very, I don't know, it just makes a lot of sense to me. And I go for advice. I like to go to Yuki, to be honest. And she's also like when it comes to anything ring psychology and ideas, she's just a good person to. I mean, obviously she also speaks English, so I love talking to her. But when I have questions, I like to go to Yuki, and you can see that in her in-ring ability as well. She thinks a lot about stuff, and that makes her a fantastic, one of the best Joshi wrestlers of this time, I think.
Yeah,
and it's a pleasure to watch her do her thing.
So you also got to see the rise of Suzu during your trip over there this time as well.
That's true, yeah.
She is something special.
Yes, that's true too. Yeah, Suzu's great. Suzu's really good.
So how did she improve from the first time you were there to this time you were there?
I think she got. I mean, she's still 17, so it's crazy. Like when you're that young, and when during 1 year you age so much. You know what I mean? Like she got so much more mature, so it's very different. I mean, she just became she became a champion, So and that's quite a game changer. So you have to deal with the responsibility, Yeah, you're getting all those interviews in, and you have to carry yourself in a certain way, So Suzu's doing that currently, and I mean, I'm sure it doesn't matter whenever I'm gonna get back to Japan, she's gonna be a different person again, Because with holding that title, there's a lot of pressure on her, but she's great at handling this. She's such a cool person, and I spend a lot of time with her this time around, a lot of time, and I really like being around her. She's a hard worker. She's never complaining. She's super sweet, super funny, and for her age, man, she's great, and she's gonna go very far.
Yeah, when I was 17, there's 0% chance I could have handled what she's doing right now.
Same, actually. Maybe not 0%, but it's such a tough job, man. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, damn, you're doing great, girl. You go, girl. Really good.
She's 17. Wow.
Yeah.
So
and
you
I
got
think,
to do.
Sorry, and I think she brought Ice Ribbon on the cover of Weekly Pro Wrestling, Shukan, for the first time. I mean, and that is such a cool thing to do. That is such an accomplishment. I think Ice Ribbon, or I don't know. Yeah, I think it's the first time Ice Ribbon's been on the cover, and it's her face, So if I were her, I'd be so proud. But she's not. She's super humble as well, She wouldn't be running around being, telling everybody. And that's Suzu in a nutshell.
Yeah, she's beyond her years, her maturity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to defend the underground title a few times over in Japan this time. How fun was that?
That was amazing. I'm so glad I got to do that, because I love to have a reason, to rage. You know what I mean? So I mean, sure, I'll get into the ring with anybody, but when it's for something I really, really care about, may it be win, may it be loss, but the feelings are just tripled and quadrupled, and it's just so much more intense for me, and it just feels very different, and I get way into it, So I'm very happy I got to do this, and that, I mean, I didn't even come up with it. They came up with it. They were like, let's put that title on the line. Let's see how that would go. So that was super cool.
I have to bring up the bad news. You dropped the title to Cherry.
That is true. Yeah, but I mean, what can you do? She's a judo black belt. Nobody told me. that ain't no lie. She's a great technician, and she's very, very, very strong. So yeah, that happened.
I got to meet her at the DDT bar. She was a sweetheart. Yeah.
Really? Was she? Well, I can't really say anything about that, can I?
But it's funny. Like, people see these wrestlers, the veteran wrestlers there. They don't realize what badasses these wrestlers actually really are.
Dude. I mean, I should have seen it coming. I was bad mouthing her on Twitter a bit. I was just, I was just like, because I didn't know her before, and I was just told, yeah, Cherry. I was like, I have no idea who Cherry is. And they told me, yeah, it's Uno's and Bunny's senpai, trainer. It's like, oh, trainer. Like, how old would she be then? And then I Googled her, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was like going on Twitter, like, hey, she's old. And then people were like writing me, oh, Thekla, you don't know what you're getting into. And I was like, really? Well, I don't care. So, and then, yeah, I got, I got what I deserved. So it's okay. I knew when I was in the ring with her, like when we started to get into holds, like into wrestling. I was like, oh shit. Now I'm gonna get it. I've got fighting spirit. I got through it. It was a very cool match. I gave it all. When it comes to my title, I get very I don't know, crazy, you might say.
But how cool is it to regain the title at Hurricane Hall?
That was a completely different thing. That was crazy. That was also co-main event, at Hurricane Hall. It was my last big show. I was like, it's for my title that I brought, from my home company, and I have to get it back at all costs, So that was insane, and I'm very proud I got to do this. And yeah, it was. I just had, like, once I knew, like, once the fight got published, how do you say, announced, I was just focused on that. I had, putting everything I got on this. So yeah, that was crazy, and everything, and like people at home were super proud, like getting it back in front of a Japanese audience at Korakona Hall is just like holding it again, after a hard fought battle. Like, it was just a very, very intense feeling. I was crying like a baby. It was embarrassing.
But it shows for Iserman to put you in that position. It shows you what kind of confidence they have in you. That's what I'm thinking too. And I didn't know. I thought it was gonna be a show where there's gonna be a bunch of title matches. Maybe I'm gonna be like second or third match of the evening. Of the day. So, but then it's like, okay, you're co-main. I was like, what? I was like, wow, they have confidence in my ability. This was amazing. To me, that was like, I never asked for any of this. So it's like, it's a crazy feeling. And yeah, you're right. I was surprised, but I worked very hard for it, and I think I did all right as well. You did. So when I was there in March and we spoke, we were at another company show where some of the Ice Ribbon wrestlers were on, and we talked about you wrestling in for shows for other companies, and you finally got that opportunity with the Seedling show at Shinjuku Face.
Oh, yeah, I know.
How fun is that to go to wrestle on a different show?
that is amazing because when we met at Shinkiba, we talked about it briefly. I was there like I wasn't working there or anything. I wasn't fighting. I just went there as a civilian, as a fan, you might say. I just wanted.
I snuck her a drink.
Yeah. Thanks. so, so yeah, I'm a Seedling fan. I love their hard hitting style. I love the people they put on the show. It's just their shows are great, and I just went there as a fan. I just wanted to see. You learn so much if you just watch matches and they put up some of the best matches. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So and then after the lockdown, and when they started putting up shows again, I again wanted to go there as a fan. Ended up seconding, helping out like Tsuka and I think Sarah was there again. So I was sort of on the radar of Seedling, and I think that's why they gave me a chance, because they saw that I was putting like extra time that nobody asked me for. Nobody asked me to do that or go there. I just did it on my own time because I wanted to. So I think that's where they were like, oh, she's interested. Okay, let's give her a shot. And I was like, wow, what? That's amazing. I was genuinely surprised, but yeah, that was super cool. I mean, that was, I think, my last week of being in Japan. I had the debut for Seedling, and then 2 days later for Asuka Project. Mm-hmm. So, and then after that, I had Korakuen Hall. So this was a very, very crazy week. A lot of stuff going on. In between, I had a video shoot for a Japanese-Korean music video, like some.
You had a full plate there for a bit, huh?
Extremely crazy. What?
A full plate for a little bit there.
Dude, it was. I mean, August was insane. I think I had over 20 shows, like 20 matches. August was like I had no free time whatsoever, but I loved it. So yeah, working for other promotions is super cool. You learn so much more new stuff, but you also learn how to work with new people, which is very different. And yeah, the style is a bit different. Ice Ribbon and Seedling. If you're a fan, you can see the differences.
Mm-hmm.
So in style.
How's the locker room different? I mean, is it pretty much same vibes in the locker room too, or is it a little different? Or
I think same vibes. I'd say there's no real difference. No, everybody knows each other. I mean, the Joshi scene really. I mean, the promotions that do work together. There's a lot of exchange, so everybody always knows each other. Mm-hmm. It's very easygoing, very cool.
So one of the shows, or some of the shows I want to talk to you about in August, were the Ueno shows.
Yeah, Ueno.
Those look like so much fun.
I know, but they're. I don't want to say they're not, because they are, but they are very, very difficult because of the heat. It is insanely hot. It's like it was 38 degrees every day, but it feels like 48. I mean, I don't know Fahrenheit. This is like Celsius. Believe me, it was extremely hot. That's all I can tell you. And when you have to build up the ring as well, and then you're there for a 12-hour plus, then you put the ring down again as well, and you have up to 3 matches in one day. You are gonna be beaten. It's very, very demanding. But other than that, the matches are very lighthearted, and you get to do a lot of different stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And then you have Splash Mania. I know what's it called? Ribbon Splash. Yeah. The show where there's complete chaos, complete Japanese chaos. You got Darth Vader, and then you got a giant dinosaur. All of a sudden, everything is slow motion. Then you have a drinking game. Then I come out and talk Japanese. Like I come up with my comedy things, and then we all just throw water at each other for an hour. Yeah, it's grand. The grand finale.
So it's now on my bucket. It's now on my bucket list to go to those shows.
You should. It's a unique experience. You should at least once see the famous Ueno Ice Ribbon Ueno Festival. It's fun.
So one of my favorite wrestlers right now is Ram Kaicho.
Oh yeah, Ram. She's good.
Tell me about wrestling with her, against her, all kinds of things.
I think this time around I wasn't. I haven't been wrestling her. I was in tag teams with her a lot.
I think
think
you do with
after.
her.
Yeah, I think after I had my little transition, you might say. After I lost the title, I became a bit more evil with, yeah, a different approach, like different style and a different makeup choice. So it was a very visually it made a lot of sense to put me and Ram together. Also the our attitudes fit. So Ram is super cool. I think she has a great gimmick, one of the best gimmicks out there. She's great on the mic. She's very consequent when it comes to being in character,
Mm-hmm.
and also she became a lot better wrestler. I think she's really good in the ring too now.
I'm dying to have her on the show before the show ends. She's one of the people, because just her whole story about wrestling, because she was really, really, really young when she started.
Yeah, she was a child wrestler.
Yeah, her whole story it just interests me just to find out more from her.
Have you tried
Yeah,
getting in touch with her?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a no-go.
It's a no-go, really?
She just hasn't responded. She hasn't responded to me, which is fine. I don't get upset when people don't respond to me. That doesn't bother me at all.
Because she does speak a little bit of English. I mean, it's not. I don't know. Oh yeah, it would be really cool to interview her.
Yeah, I think
for sure.
Her story would be very interesting.
Yeah, I think so too, for sure. Yeah, but Ram is cool. She's also outside of the ring. She's a very very cool looking character, for sure.
Yeah.
Great to work with her as well.
So let's talk about outside the ring. What kind of things were you able to do this time outside the ring because you were there so long? What sort of fun things were you able to do?
None. I wasn't really. I mean, I did not have time. I mean, of course, you had the lockdown and everything, and as I said before, I was only at home for a long time. Wasn't going out much. After everything got a little bit better, you still had to be careful. It's like you didn't want to, do anything and then catch corona and then give it to all the other people and then mess up wrestling for everybody. So I was being very careful, and then everything that I like to do was closed down. I really wanted to watch some sumo, but sumo wasn't a thing during. I think still there's no sumo in Japan right now because of the situation. And other than that, I actually wanted to go to Kyoto or get around a little bit, but also that was a no-go because of the restrictions. Yeah, and people from Tokyo and Saitama were told to not leave their area, to not further spread the virus to other parts of the country. So like doing fun stuff wasn't really a thing. I did a lot of just wandering around, or riding the bicycle to the next station, then look around, just a bit of exploring really. But except for that, I was really just focusing on wrestling. And sometimes that's the only thing I would hang out with Masha Slama, which we talked about before. We went to the beach, that was awesome. Got to do that. So yeah, other than that, unfortunately, I can't tell you any fun stories of me doing fun things in Japan.
Some of my favorite days in Japan are when I have nothing scheduled and I start walking. So that's some of my favorite days there. So exploring and riding a bike and stuff, that sounds like so much fun to me.
Totally. I like to do that too. But yeah, as I said, especially like July and August, no time. Couldn't do it. We had so many shows. We had so many things planned. I had one day off, and that was for me just resting, getting stuff done. Yeah.
So around Saitama, around the dojo, did all the townspeople start to learn who you were and get to know you a little bit?
maybe a little bit. I think, yeah. I mean, of course, I was running around there a lot, and there weren't, in general in Japan. I mean, Japan, I don't know, but you would see a lot less foreigners. I mean,
Hmm.
everybody had left really. Nobody was. Uh, Nobody stayed behind. So of course, if like being a foreigner in these last couple of months, yeah, there was more attention, and so yeah, more recognized. Probably, yeah, I think so.
So, what do you miss most about Japan right now, as you're sitting in Vienna right
Oh,
now?
wrestling, 100%, 100% getting in the ring, doing my thing. I really, I really miss that a lot. But also my day-to-day life. I just really liked, knowing when I have to get up for training, and then sort of stuff I'd eat, and then my off time and going to, get some tasty ramen around the corner, all that sort of stuff. It's the little things, sitting by the window looking outside, and the way everything smells. I love that, especially in summer. I like the heat as well when it's really hot, just running around and all the girls are complaining all the time. Always. I always saying, Atsui, Atsui. It's like that means it's so hot, it's so hot. And I'm like, yeah, it is, I guess. I don't care. I love it. They're always complaining. I love that. It makes me feel I don't know, at home.
You were part of the team for a while. You left your team.
I left my team. Yeah, but I'm gonna. I mean, they really they made me promise I was gonna to come back as soon as possible. And when I said I might even come back this year, they were like, "Really? That's so cool. That's so awesome. Please stay in touch. Come back as soon as you can." So um, that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna message them tomorrow and tell them the good news.
So, what's the wrestling scene right now in Vienna? Is there just shut down completely right now?
No, not really, but it's a bit irregulated, and it's quite up and down. It's like the cases are going up now again.
Mm-hmm.
Then there might be shows, and but people don't want to go to the shows because they're afraid. Because
Mm-hmm.
people aren't as consequent as in Japan. If you go to a wrestling show, everybody's gonna, you know, um, take care of the rules. You know what I mean?
Yep.
People are gonna wear masks. Nobody's gonna complain. It's all gonna be, there's not gonna be any rush. Everybody's gonna be mindful. And in the Europe, people aren't used to that. I think so. It's a lot more difficult to get, a feeling of safety for shows. So a lot of, I mean, there is shows happening. I had a show 4 days after I got back to Vienna, which was great. Like having a home base match is always cool. People were going completely crazy. It's like, oh my god, our hero from Japan is returning home. So that's what it felt like, and that was a great feeling. But yeah, but the upcoming shows it's a bit more difficult because some things are getting canceled, or you just don't know. Next week, everything could be there could be another lockdown again. So that's a bit frustrating.
Yeah. All right, Tekla, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram. That is toxic underscore Thekla, Thekla. And I think it's the same thing for Twitter, toxic underscore Thekla. And on Facebook as well. That is, I think it's also toxic Thekla.
I'll put all those
Yeah,
in the show notes so people can find you.
please do. Thank you.
Well, Tekla, again, I was so happy to get to talk to you over in Japan after we spoke last year in December, November,
Yeah.
whatever it was. But I hope we get to meet in Japan again someday.
For sure. I'm sure we will.
Yes,
And
we will.
it's gonna be very fun. Thanks
Yes.
for having me again.
Oh, thanks for coming on.
For sure.